Kia ora, Sassy Engineer here. Since my last video on NZeTA, I've had over 50 people reach out to me, either saying that they're securing an NZ working visa or they're about to get one. And the story is always the same, and so are my questions. My questions are always the same as well. So let's explore NZeTA all over again. I'll break it down as simple as possible. So NZeTA, right? I took time to explain what it is, the eligibility criteria, the cost, as well as the process. As such, I will not be doing that here. So if you want to learn more about that, do check out the video. The link will be in the description box. What I'll be discussing here is what happens if you take that NZeTA route. What are the cost implications? What are the immigration implications? I've also made a video on how you can spot fake visa or even know when an agent is about to scam you. So the link again of all those videos will be in my description box, or you can click the link at the top right corner. So like I said, many people have reached out to inform me of their working visa. 80% of them call it working visa, NZeTA working visa. Some of them just say visa that allows them to work in New Zealand. This was given to them by their wonderful agent, and they want to know if they can actually come to New Zealand and work on it. First of all, if you get to asking me if you can work on it, there's a 50% chance that you can't. But, you know, there's also the other 50% that you can. So the dialogue always goes like this. I will try to reenact it as much as I can. I'm just sitting there having a wonderful time or not. And I get a message that, hi, Sassy, you know, blah, blah, blah. After the whole pleasantries, sometimes they don't even. They're like, I want to know if I can come to New Zealand on this visa. And I'm like, okay, what visa? The agent said that they can work on this visa. I'm like, okay. What is the name of your visa? That's the first thing I ask. What is a visa? And they're like, it's a work visa. I'm like, okay, what is the name of your work visa? Because if you watch my videos, you will know that New Zealand has different types of work visas and all of them have different names. So I'm like, okay, maybe, you know, new person doesn't really get it. So let's ask, what is the name of this, your work visa? It's a working visa, a visa that allows you to come to New Zealand. And some of them with so much attitude. I'm like, yeah, but what is the name? What is the name? You know, I'm expecting to hear something like accredited employer work visa or working holiday visa, something in that line. But I just hear working visa for those who are interested in continuing a conversation, because some people just stop having that conversation when they start to realize that, oh, something is fishy here. Or some will just say NZeTA working visa. I'm like, there is nothing like NZeTA working visa. Like my agent said I can come to New Zealand to work. Okay, what did your agent promise you? Like, oh, that they'll get me work in New Zealand. And when I come to New Zealand, they will now link me up with an agent, their person to get work. First of all, most of the work visas in Nigeria, you need to have a job to even qualify to apply for that work visa. Only very special cases like maybe post-study work visa or straight to residency work visa. There are few cases of work visas you don't need to get a job. But majority of the work visas that immigrants can stay outside and apply for to come to New Zealand requires you to first of all get a job. Why is your agent asking you to come to New Zealand first before securing that job? Red flag, but I get it. Sometimes, you know, you don't really know this country, you don't really know what's going on. So it's understandable. But then when I ask this question, I now find out that these agents are actually really using them. And then they may continue like, but can I come to New Zealand and work on this visa? And I'll be like, okay, can I see a copy of your visa? And the moment they send me, I just know that it's an NZeTA. This is what the agents do. So this is the trick that they do. The agents will, or you will go to the agent, because most of the time you're the one that go to the agent and be like, I need a visa to go and work. Or sometimes you see an advertisement somewhere, agent to say work in New Zealand, and you will go and they tell you they will give you the visa almost immediately. I mean, who doesn't like that? Even I, one visa tomorrow, I want. And so people are desperate. They jump on it without even thinking, asking these questions. That's why I'm making this video. I did the types of work visa video. So you go and check that out to know the types of New Zealand work visa. So what the agent does is, who collect your details and probably ask you to pay some money. People have paid money. Trust me, you're going to know the amount very soon. and then they'll go on to NZeTA website and apply for an NZeTA for you. Now, if you have watched that video, you will know that. Anyway, let's continue. So the agent will take your passport details and your personal details and apply for an NZeTA. And within 72 hours, they will get the NZeTA approved. This agent will now take that NZeTA number and transpose it or whatever, pose it on a letter that they downloaded from the internet. Edit it to put your name, your passport number. That's those that even bother trying, or some don't even bother. Put that number. So you, when you get that number, they'll give you the screenshot of the approval of the NZeTA, because you can either do this on an app or you can do it on the website. And then they'll give you that letter. Now you will come to me and you show me this letter and tell me you've gotten a working visa. And I'll tell you this is not a work visa. And you will say, but you verified it. It's a valid NZeTA. Yes, it's a valid NZeTA. But it doesn't mean that it allows you to come to New Zealand to work. Or you would just be confused. Or maybe you ask people around and they're like, no, that doesn't look like a genuine work visa. And you go to the agent will tell you, go and verify. They'll say that link and you go and check that link, and New Zealand will tell you it is valid. Some people go to the essence of calling Immigration New Zealand. Whatever you provide is what they'll give you. You've provided the details and they'll check and say it's valid, you can come to New Zealand. But is it coming to New Zealand and the things that you can do in New Zealand that is the problem? That is where the scam happens. The NZeTA can be genuine for those who actually spend the money to apply for it, but it is what you can do with it. That is where the lie is. They will tell you that you can come to New Zealand to work. First of all, NZeTA is not a visa. It's just a travel authority. So this is an example of the letter that I was sent. And if you see, they call it e-visa. And that's what I talked about, this scam that is e-visa. It's also on my channel. If you check, this is valid, the valid NZeTA. But the thing is that what they're promising that person on this letter is not what this NZeTA allows that person to do. So that's the lie. So these agents charge outrageous prices. The minimum that I was told was 800,000 naira. There was a 1.3 million. There was 1.5. I've actually had I've had two people, 2 or 3 that paid 1.5. I've been told 2.5. Someone even paid 3.5 million for that. Recently, someone asked me if they should pay 2.6 million naira for visa. It turned out that it was still this NZeTA scam thing. And I've also seen $2,000 US, and that was just deposit. Oh. After the whole shenanigan, they were still supposed to pay 2,000. I think somehow the person stumbled on my video, and that got that person thinking like, wait, what's going on here? Have I been scammed? And then when they found out, I'm like, bro, sis, try and collect your $2,000. It's an epidemic, trust me. They are feeding off your desperation, and you are not thinking and asking these questions. So watch that video on how to spot fake visa and visa agents to learn some tricks and know the questions to ask them. I'm going to share just a little bit here. Now, what happens if you still decide to toe that NZeTA part because you probably feel that you've invested money and time? So, hey, let me just try my luck. After all, you've been told that people have tried it. The thing is that you've been told people have tried it. You've not been told if they succeeded or not. So what happens? What is the cost implication? What is the immigration implication for you? Let me just say you decide that okay, now that one suits you. I mean, somehow, I don't blame you. You have maybe borrowed money somewhere, sold all your properties to gather 3.6 million to dash a visa agent. And some of these agents are actually very naive. I've had someone that reached out to me. That account has now been suspended. The lady's account has been suspended on Facebook. She had up to 35 or 60,000 followers. Reached out to me and told me that she got visas for 60 people. I'm like, wow, I would like to work with you. That wasn't again. So what kind of visa, I asked, and he was like, but then I saw your video about NZeTA and I wanted to confirm if it's true. I'm like, but you're a visa agent. You claim to be a visa agent. You should know these things. You should be updated, stay informed. Why would you go and promise people that they can come to New Zealand to work on an NZeTA when you know that it's not possible? But I guess the people have reported her because right now her account is been deactivated. Yeah, that's the word. Coming back to the NZeTA topic, let's say you want to use NZeTA to come to New Zealand. If you are from a visa waiver country, this is actually not an issue for you because you can fly into New Zealand. By flying to New Zealand, I mean landing in New Zealand and passing through the border control with an NZeTA, and you can visit and tour New Zealand. But when you want to work or do any other thing outside visiting, you will need to get a visa. Now the problem is for people that are not from visa waiver countries, because if you are from a country that is not on the visa waiver list, you can only transit through New Zealand on an NZeTA. What that means is you fly into New Zealand, you wait in the transit area, and then you take another flight out of New Zealand. You are not going to pass through the border control. So that means you're not going to enter New Zealand. But if you want to come into New Zealand, the only way you can do that is by cruise ship, which means you have to start from whatever country you find yourself, get into a cruise ship and come into New Zealand. And even with that, you are just in New Zealand as a visitor, because that, you know how cruise ship goes through different places and they stop over for a period of days and then they move. Once that cruise ship moves, you have to move with it. If you happen to want to stay back to do whatever, let's say study or work, you need to convert to a work visa. Now I think this is the trick where people are using to trick people. All right, let's say you have gotten your NZeTA. Now you want to come to New Zealand with your NZeTA, and you know you cannot fly into New Zealand with an NZeTA, but they said with an NZeTA you can enter New Zealand if you come on a cruise ship. And you know we don't have cruise ships in Nigeria. You're not cargo. What we have are cargo ships. We don't have cruise ships like those Titanic them. We don't have it from Nigeria, at least to the best of my knowledge. So that means what? You have to fly to a country that has cruise ships. And they're not just cruise ships that will pass through New Zealand. So you now have to find a country that has cruise ships that includes New Zealand as part of their route. Fly to that country. That is one cost. The cost that is involved there is, first, that country that you are flying to. Do you need a visa to enter that country, or can you just enter visa free? And you know, Nigeria, we only have a few countries that are visa free for us. That is one. So there's a high chance you may need visa to even enter that particular country. Let's say you now find a country that you don't need visa, which is always Fiji. Everybody is saying Fiji, Fiji, Fiji. So, and Fiji is closer to New Zealand. So you now have to fly to Fiji. That is transportation cost, ticket. You have to pay for that flight. And it's not chicken change. It's not 100,000 naira. We're talking millions here because exchange rate, inflation. So you have paid agents 2.5 million, 1.5 million already. You're not going to come and pay another 1 point something million. Let me just say 1 million for flight. You will land in Fiji. First of all, cruise ship is not like airline that they go every day. Season impact. So that season may not be the season to go. So you will land in Fiji and you now have to wait. And you can only stay in Fiji for a period of time with your Nigerian passport, even though it's visa free. It's not forever. So you will land in Fiji. Let's say you land at a time that cruise ships are doing come and go, come and go. The next thing is what? It's not free. Cruise ship is not free. And while you're landing in Fiji, you need to feed for that period that you're waiting for the cruise ship. That is money. You need to live somewhere. That is money. Cruise ship is not chicken change. It's not ferry from Lagos Island to Takwa Bay. It's not from Oron to Uyo. No, or Cross River. Cruise ship is expensive. I've heard that you can pay up to $11,000, but I think that's just too much. I don't know. I've never been on a cruise ship. But then you have to factor in the cost of a cruise ship. So then you now have your paid agent, $1 point something million. Your flight is $1 point something million. Then you have to feed for the period of time in Fiji. And then you have to pay cruise ship. And then when you take that cruise ship and land in New Zealand, the only thing you can do in New Zealand is just to tour around. And you need to leave New Zealand either when the cruise ship leaves or 28 days after. Either one that comes first. And it's usually when the cruise ship leaves. So once the cruise ship leaves, you should be on that cruise ship out of New Zealand. Now people like to taste their luck and be like, I could come and get a job. I don't know, because there are some people that in this life that is just luck walks with them around. I don't know how they do it, but they can be fortunate. But that's 1 in a million. And even people living in New Zealand are hustling for jobs they knew that is coming from abroad. I'm not saying it's impossible, but that is a very low probability of happening. So these are the issues. When an agent tells you they're getting you a visa, an NZeTA visa, then you should come and you should wait. They'll get you job. When they start promising you things, red flags. Guaranteeing you visa, red flags. So that's just the summary of everything. First of all, NZeTA is not even up to $100. NZeTA is $17 or $23 depending on where you apply, whether it is on app or on the website. And then there's a $35 in international visitor levy fee on top of that. So basically it's from $52 to $58. $52 to $58. That is what agent is charging you 1.5 million for. Isn't that a red flag? I've asked one person, why did the agent charge you so much? What did they promise you? What were the services they were going to provide for you? The only service was just visa. Visa. That is outrageous. 1.5 million for something that is $58 is criminal. That is armed robbery. Broad daylight armed robbery. So don't let those G-boys use you. Use your HQ. And these are the tips I'm going to ask. First of all, I always tell people, ask questions. Don't be afraid. If you can bring out 1.5 million naira to pay someone, then you should ask question. Ask question that so that the person will be like, it's okay. It's okay, take your money. I don't want it again. Because someone says it's giving you work visa. What kind of work visa? They just said you want work visa to work. I know you just want to do any job, but in order to do any job, you need a particular visa for that job. So you need to know these things. What type of work visa is this agent giving you? Ask that question. Tip number 2, know the type of New Zealand work visas. And I made this easy. I have videos on my channel detailing types of New Zealand work visas. And I've even had videos detailing the specific visa, the eligibility criteria, conditions, application process, cost, everything. They're all under the Coming to New Zealand playlist. Watch those videos and you'll learn a thing or two about New Zealand and work visas. Don't be desperate. I know you want to jackpot, but use your HQ. Because these people, they know that you're desperate and you do just about anything to live. So they feed off that. And because you are not asking the question, I know some of them are very what's the word, very arrogant, like they try to make you afraid to ask questions. If you are so afraid to ask questions, then you should be afraid to give somebody 3.5 million naira, right? So if you can give that person that amount of money, then you should ask them questions. And just to note that for most of New Zealand work visas, you will need to have a job or a job offer before even applying for that visa. Check the eligibility criteria, the process. That's what you should know for most visa. I'm not saying all of them are like that. There are some that you don't need a job, you just apply. Watch that video on types of New Zealand work visas. You'll see the types and the cost. I think the reason why many people are scammed is because they are desperate and they don't ask questions. They just take whatever the agent tells them, hook, line, and sinker, because they believe that visa can never be me. I don't know anything about visa. But you can go on TikTok. You can do TikTok challenge. Yeah, you can do that. If you can do that, then you can go on Google and search, or whichever web browser you use, Safari, whichever one works for you, search, ask those questions, or come to YouTube, come to my channel and watch these videos before you go and pay agents money. I know that some of you agents are also watching. It's not fair. Stop scamming people. It's really not good. I don't know how you sleep at night. So basically, that's the long and short of this whole gist. I hope you understand everything clearly. If you watch this video combined with the first video that I did on NZeTA, you would have the full picture. So that is what is going on now, and I hope that I've been able to create that awareness and make you know that these things are happening so that you don't fall victim for it. And if you have, don't feel too bad, because I understand that it's going to hurt. Like, wow, I can't believe I've been scammed. A whole me. It's all right. That's a very normal feeling. If you can retrieve your money, then do it. Otherwise, lesson learned, and just apply for a work visa. But if you still want to go through that route, just know that you're going to be a simple visitor in New Zealand when you arrive, and it's going to be very expensive. If you have such money to splurge, why don't you just apply for a straight visitor visa and come to New Zealand and just enjoy yourself? Except maybe you want to take a cruise ship, because it's part of people's bucket list, then that's fine. But be aware that if you want to tour the route, that you have to consider all those factors which many people don't think about when they're applying for this thing, and they end up being or feeling stuck.